Good morning, everybody. It is July 16, and we are looking at the pre-market. And I was getting ready to do analysis, but I actually had this order sitting from yesterday that I left open, and so far it's come within one tick of filling. So I just wanted to kind of show that because I'm going to keep checking in on this as we're doing our analysis. Um, I have it, the order sitting in my Thinkorswim, and just didn't quite get a fill yet. So we just want to make sure, obviously, that we keep an eye on that. If it reacts strongly down, I'll cancel my order, sort of consider it that the move already occurred. And if not, we'll just kind of keep it there and see what happens unless it gets too close to the opening bell, because I don't like having open orders during the opening bell. But um, I was going to try and bring my TOS over to show you, but it doesn't look like it wants to move over to my other monitor. There we go. So you can see the order right there, and you can see that it just came basically one tick away from getting filled for 4 contracts there. Keep it simple, and yeah, that's that. So just taking a look at where we're at. Yesterday, we caught the bottom of the market, so we caught this here. Um, Made this announcement in the trade room pretty early in the day. Let's see, where do we call it out? NQ intraday 10:51 a.m. We called this out, and again, you can see it there. So right here, NQ intraday trade idea right there off that consolidation, and um, I took the trade myself on micros just because it was quite a bit of risk where I wanted to put my stop just to be on the safe side. Could have put it under these lows, but I wanted to be on the safe side and put it under this low right here. But as you can see, the level we identified was pretty spot on anyway. But I took this up. I took my trade off early. I had a meeting, and I just didn't want to be distracted during my meeting, like constantly checking the charts and stuff. So I closed the trade off, somewhere. I think it was, for me, it was like right before this pullback as we started to top off here. And again, it was just getting close to my meeting. I think I got about 60 points on the trade. You can see the total trade itself was about 80 points. So really nice the way that worked out, and the market's on its way up. So, all right, cool. I actually just got filled on my order. And since that's live, we're just going to kind of let this play out over here, and we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping that this level still holds. It's a little bit of a funky area. I didn't have a tremendous amount of confidence in this trade. There's also like a big reversal up here, and there's a chance that that's going to be what we react to. But I thought it was a decent enough setup to take a shot at it. And if it wins, it wins. If it loses, it loses. No big deal. Yesterday was a nice day. Had 2 trades, 2 wins, kind of in and out, and that's the way we like it. So previous 2 days were down days for me, but those were the first 2 down days I had in 3 weeks. So not a bad stretch there. So let's just see how this plays out for a little bit. This is the 5-minute chart, and yeah, so a little bit of heat on the trade so far, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, if we look at this, basically what this trade is based off of is, if we look at this move down here, there's quite a bit of volume in here. And the reason I didn't take it off of the point of control here is because we have this other little high volume node right here, and then stop above the high. So I took my trade right, underneath that node. Right now it looks like the market's pushing right through it. So we'll see. This may just go right through and hit my stop. And if that's the case, so be it. Um, we don't like starting the day that way, but, I had the trade on, and some win, some lose. So overall, basically what we're looking at here is, just a pullback, right? So we've been inside this green range, is from this low to this high. We pulled back, kind of attempted to make a new high and sort of failed. That was like this pullback low to this high, and then we pulled back into it, attempted a new high and failed. And then now basically we broke the low. So we've got this sort of like high back down. There were some lows in here, and we're just kind of seeing what the market's going to do. So, just kind of this pull back low, high, and then pull back again. Get this out of the way. So really, this is such sloppy price action. It's really hard to even honestly like map out the swings, right? We've got a high here that came down to a low here, and then another high here, and then, right, we broke that low, and then off that low we made this lower high, but then we formed a higher low and broke structure, right? We did that little structural break there, and now we're just coming back up into this stuff. So I think overall, like I'm still bullish actually on this NASDAQ trade. I also loaded up in my long-term account, just added some more of the leveraged ETFs just off of that, because that's a nice little consolidation. And you can see on the NASDAQ, like it's a pretty clear, pattern of just a consolidation up, new high, pull back, up. We're just pulling back, right? Like it's not anything real major, right? Pull back, move up, pull back, move up, pull back. Now we should push up. So this trade might just blast right through, but I'm hoping that there's enough resistance here that the market reacts at least a little bit to it. And like I said, if it does, great. If not, whatever. It is what it is. We don't need a lot of movement on this trade, so it just needs to pull back a little off these highs and then come back down to us. Maybe come back and retest this point of control. We shall see. Sorry, I was looking at my other chart when I was talking about that point of control because I have the trade on over there. So let's get back over to the S&P. All right, this is where that trade is right now. And one thing I do want to look at for today is our session volume. Just see where we're at in relation to yesterday, right? So we're above yesterday's value, right? We're building value higher. So this looks like the start of what should be a bullish day. And we'll see how that plays out. As long as we stay above yesterday's value, I think we should be good to go. If we come back down into yesterday's value, especially before the open, I think, we could definitely retest yesterday's point of control, right? All this consolidation from inside of here would not be unrealistic to retest some of that. So we can take a look there. Same thing, got all this right in here. So I don't usually trade off of the session volume, but I do like to be aware of it. So, kind of right now, if we're going to keep moving up, it's hard to point out major levels because the market's been so choppy in here, which is typical because we've been basically in an inside range for quite a while. But let's just take a look at this and just see what's in here, right? So we've got a bunch of resistance here. We kind of tested this zone, so I'm not sure I would trade off of this. It could be a little bit spent, right? We had all of this here. We pulled back. We came up, tested it just under that point of control, and then moved back down. So yeah, not something. We might get some resistance there, but I wouldn't put money on it, right? I wouldn't really put a lot of money on it. So just be careful about that. There's also kind of like a drop off of volume here. So if we get up above these levels, that's something that we might want to know about. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just put a little line there, just so I'm aware of that level, that if we get above that, there might be a good bullish push up if we get above 43.7150. That would be a key level to look to break, because you could see there was a lot of trading volume that came in above that. It really dried up. Now let's grab some of this too. Yeah, so it's still kind of dropped off like a cliff there, but next stop would be this hard reversal up here. But again, this almost looks like it tested it, but that may be something that we want to be interested in up here as well as a potential area for resistance. Not sure I was short off of it, but if you're long, possibly looking to take profit somewhere around that 43.77 area, maybe even a little bit lower, because you can see these wicks where sellers came in here, okay? So stuff to really be aware of in there. Yeah, this trade's not looking good. Looks like the market wants to push up through and break this resistance. It could end up testing these highs up here, which wouldn't be terribly surprising. So as far as the 5-minute chart's concerned, again, like same deal. Sort of next stop, if we break this area where this trade is taking place right now, we would basically look for, where's the next area we might expect some resistance. We've got the reversal in here, and you might get some resistance in there. So 43.68, again, I'm not sure I would short that level, but if you're long, just be cautious going long into that kind of level, right? And same thing, like from all this stuff that we pointed out up here, this big rotation area. And you can see that when we get it on the smaller time frame, this looks very much like we tested it, right? This was the trade I pointed out in my trade room. I didn't do an analysis the past couple of days; it just was really busy in the mornings. But in the trade room, we pointed out that this was a trade that would have taken place in the overnight that you could have taken off of all this consolidation. Really nice test of those areas, and then a pullback down. So, I don't think I would trade off of that again. I think it's been sort of used up. And same thing, like this was really efficient price action in here. All of these levels got tested, right? We came down, we tested this level, came down again, tested anything that was in here, came down again, back up, tested again. So there's not a lot that I would look at past those areas. And in fact, this one, I think I'm gonna, we'll call that what it is. But yeah, not a whole lot I would look at there. This trade's, just sort of sitting there. We'll see if we get a pullback. It's pretty close to my stop loss right now. We're like 3 ticks away from my stop, but my stop's only like a 2.75 point stop. So, not huge. And yeah, that's kind of it. I guess what we'd be looking at that point would be pullback trades. And if we're going to continue to go long, but honestly, I'd probably wait for the live session, the day session, to start taking place. Obviously, a lot of volume in here. So we could very well come back and test this area. That would be something I may be interested in as a long. It's off of here. Okay, that's 43.59. If we get a nice pullback in there, and if it's not like right with the opening volatility, possible area to go long off of. Because again, we've got this consolidation under all of this resistance, right? And it's like a resistance becoming support kind of setup, right? So you got resistance becoming support, you've got all this volume, pretty nice setup you can take, honestly, right there. So that's definitely something I would consider. A little bit of volume in here too, so we could pull back and just retest this consolidation and then push up, we'll see. But I think it's, seeing all this volume down here, it is a decent probability that we do pull back to these levels. I'd like for this trade to start coming back. Usually off the levels I trade, I like to see a strong reaction. So I don't love when the price kind of just blows right through. But the nice thing is often it does come back and give us an opportunity. If we want to just get out at break even, we can. I don't tend to do that. I tend to just see if the trades play out personally. Sometimes I regret that decision, but that's just what I tend to do. So we see the market starting to pull back a little bit now. It's just a question of how much it's going to pull back. If it's going to stop in here, right, where we already have the same level, because we kind of reacted to that first level and then pushed through it. And so it's almost would be like an opportunity to take a long off of that, to be honest with you. And you could do a really tight long. You could do something like this. Either stop right under that low. And you don't need much of a profit target. I like to go for 1-to-1, so you don't need much of an upward movement to take profit on that trade. So that's an option too. Like I could, if I wanted to, potentially change my bias, get out of this trade, and then take it to the upside. But this resistance is still holding, so I'm personally just going to hold my trade. I'm going to see how this goes. And again, you can see where the volume is. And so I think I've got my stop in a pretty good place because volume really drops off above these levels. So we'll see. It's kind of a sluggish pre-market movement. And also, depending how close we get to the opening bell, I may just close the trade. I don't like being in open trades during the opening bell. But this was a trade level from yesterday. So yeah, that's kind of all I have for analysis today. But I'm going to keep the live going and just let this trade play out. I have a suspicion it's going to stop out at this point. You can see that every time we try to push lower, we're getting buyers coming in and pushing it up. So I don't love the price action there. It's very thin volume as we pushed up through here too. So still wouldn't be unreasonable for us to test and like fill in some volume down here. And that would get my target filled if we do come down that low. This question becomes, is support going to hold? And support's really here. So we're real close to the top of support. I put my stop a couple ticks above it, but we are very, very close to the top of that support level. There's a lot of selling volume here. This. Make sure it's behind my candles. Let's see if this can come down for us at all. I said, I'm a little concerned that even if we do come down, that we only come down to this 62.50 level and then react back upwards, but we'll see. Don't really see sellers being very successful at pushing this thing down. I'd like to see some more aggressive selling action. Let's take a look on the 1 minute. I'd really like to see some more aggressive selling action. The 1 minute in pre-market's almost, it's just too small to look at, really. So this is the 2 minute. This is that little volume cluster. It's this consolidation right here, which was kind of a reaction to the level. It's like almost should have canceled the trade right there as we got that. See, that's aggressive selling. That white candle denotes aggressive selling. And then we see buyers came in aggressively and pushed it back up. I might honestly, just because we're getting so close to the market open, if it comes down to this level, I might just close the trade. And I don't think I would take the reversal because it's too close to the market open for me. Or maybe if it comes down here, I would just bring my stop down, really tighten up my risk on it. Again, we're just looking for aggressive sellers to step in. So far, the selling is passive here. And we don't want to see the buyers just chew through all the limit order sellers and absorb all of that liquidity and supply. Which is what looks like is kind of happening right now. It's just passive sellers, lots of limit orders in this resistance area, lots of people looking to get short, which means there's going to be lots of stop losses up here. And we might just get a blast right through, mine included. I'd like to see a bearish candle print. This is a custom script that we use that our members have access to, so it just colors the candles a little bit differently. So my criteria for a bearish candle is just a little bit different than the traditional criteria. Again, every time the sellers try to step in, the buyers just eat it up. We want to see some aggressive selling. We want to see something to show us that the sellers are active in here. Building a lot of volume. So we got some sign of aggression on the seller's part. The question is, can they follow through? I'm not super confident on that right now. Buyers are maintaining a presence. All right. Let's see if the sellers can take control. All these equal highs up here too is a little bit concerning. Like I would expect that to get probed. It might just probe it by a tick or two, but if it probes it enough, it's going to take my stop with it. Because again, there's just going to be a lot of liquidity above there. Plus, it's what we call an incomplete auction, right? So if you think of an auction, price goes up until there's only one buyer left, right? Then the auction is sort of complete, and it starts auctioning back down again to find more buyers. Clearly, there's more than one buyer here, right? So usually you want to see the auction go up, and then you get like a little wick on top, and then the auction comes down. When you get these equal highs, that's an incomplete auction, and the auction needs to complete itself, so you get a probe up. You get a probe up to see if there's any more liquidity. The auction basically needs to go until it goes excessively high, and there's no more buyers left. There's nobody willing to buy, and the sellers, push price back down to find more buyers, right? This is an extremely sluggish trade. This is not how I like price to react to the levels that we trade off of. So all the more reason for me to possibly get out at break even, or maybe a little bit better if price comes back down. I'm going to move my target order to 62.50 because I don't want to really be stuck in this trade for a long time, especially now that it's so close to the opening bell. Just bring all this in. So that was my entry right there. Bring the target just to right there, 62.50. See if we can't just grab it. If it comes back down there and just test some of this low volume area, It might blow through and hit my original target, but it's just, again, we're pushing into the 9 o'clock hour now, and I do not like holding trades close to the opening bell. When I do my trade journals, I find statistically trades between 9 and 9:30 for me, for my trading, are less probable. The price action just gets kind of slow and choppy, and then some of that probably affects my psychology a little bit. Here we finally get some sellers coming in, taking over. So close to break even on the trade now. If I can eke out a small profit on this, I'll be happy. If it wasn't so close to the bell, I would for sure hold it. One tick above break even right now. Buyers coming back in, reacting to the low volume node. That's what's happening there. So as we're building a balancing area up here, these low volume areas act as rejections. But I was expecting it to kind of go through that and test this stuff down here. Let's see what happens. So usually we react off that. We would, if we were going to take a trade off that kind of setup, we would buy off the low volume, target the point of control. I'm hoping this rejects back down again. At this point, I'm going to bring my stop to right above the high. Just tighten my risk a little bit. Because if it takes out these highs, I think it's just going up and it's going to take out the resistance up there. So I brought my stop down to there. I like to give it 2 ticks, especially in pre-market where volume's thin. This looks like it's going to blast through, but who knows? Could be a fake out. Let's see the sellers come in and defend this. Right, they came in here. Let's see if they'll defend it. Push it back down and test this stuff down here. Maybe I should have gotten out with just that. Could have gotten out with just 1 tick of loss. Especially seeing that the price didn't react the way I wanted it to. That might have been the wiser thing to do, especially being pre-market like this. The buyers are strong here. I said, I sort of expect these highs to get taken out because this is an incomplete auction up here. Of course, we also have another incomplete auction down here at these lows, but the overall trend is up right now, or the immediate time frame trend is up. I'm gonna move. I just want this to be above the resistance at least, I guess. I'm gonna move that up there. It's just 1 tick difference. Let's see what the sellers can do. They can hold on to this level. I'm sort of expecting this trade to take a loss at this point. Let's see if we probe these highs. We should probe the highs. That'll be the expected move right now. You would think. The buyers are really struggling. 5-minute still have seller control, but that's breaking right now. Let's see if these highs get taken out, at least by a tick. But I think if they take these highs out, it's going up, taking out resistance. If the sellers step in here and push this down, I will be absolutely amazed and grateful. There's a sign of presence. Sellers are waking up. So the momentum looks also to be to the downside. See, this is aggressive selling. This buying was very weak. Weak buying, kind of weak selling here, and then weak buying again. We want to see aggressive selling come back in. Come on, sellers. Now we have a definite double top, which again is like, I would expect that to get probed at least a tick or two at some point. Whether it's going to do it before it comes down or after, but that high has got to get taken out. I mean, I think it'll get taken out today anyway. I think we're going up today. Everything looks bullish as far as the larger picture goes. Let's see if the sellers can't just drop the price. That would be favorable. This is going to be a tricky area right here, this low volume node. That's going to be the stuff we have to get through. I could get out here with only 2 ticks loss. Oh, not anymore. Still looking for some seller aggression here. That's what this indicator down here is. This is another one of our custom indicators that our members have access to, and it just measures buyer and seller aggression. So the green lines are always the buyers, it's the upswings. The red lines are the downswings. And it's very simple. It's just if the lines are pointed up, it also colors them brighter when they're pointed up, so it's just easier to recognize. But when they're pointed up, it means that that swing has more aggression than the swing that preceded it. Right? So it's always just relative to the previous swing. So we see that even though this has been coming up, all the upswings have actually been weaker, and the downswings have exhibited more aggression, which is sort of like your pre-warning. It's common as you're approaching resistance. You would expect to see that, right? Like buyers are becoming more passive, more cautious. Sellers are becoming a little bit more, sellers are coming into the market as we're approaching resistance. So we expect that in those areas. It's like a little bit of forewarning. In a nice uptrend, you want to see, so I can give a good example, like, it's like this is okay. I mean, the buyers are weak, but the sellers are weaker, right? That's kind of what you want to see. There's not really any nice trends in here. It's so sloppy in the overnight, but you'd want to see basically like in an uptrend, you'd want to see the green lines are up and bright, and the red lines are kind of down and dark, and it creates that sort of with the swings. And then the opposite with the downtrend. The red lines are up and bright. Like this would look great if it were a downtrend, right? Because the down swings, the bearish swings are more aggressive, and the bullish, they would be retracements, are weaker. And that's what you'd want to see in a healthy, sort of stable trend. It's not any kind of indicator that we take buy or sell signals off of. It's just a reference, basically. Depending on the trade setup, sometimes I look at it, sometimes I don't. It depends on what style of trade setup I'm doing. In this particular trade, I wasn't. I could have cared less coming into it because I was just trading off of this kind of known resistance point, as opposed to a momentum type like breakout trade. Trend following trade is what this would be good for. This indicator is great for trend following, but it does help us when we're in these trades to kind of just measure. Oof, don't like that, how the strong the buyers just push that up. We want to just measure, we want to measure the strength of buyers and sellers. So again, there was opportunity to get out there, plenty of opportunity to get out with only 2 ticks of loss. I'm holding the trade. I'm fine with the risk personally, but if somebody was in this and you felt uncomfortable about it and you didn't want to take the loss, there's plenty of opportunity to get out with just a very small loss there. That's the nice thing about, we had some good retail numbers, so that's probably helping. I didn't even get a chance to look at the news yet. I just got to my office and opened this up and saw this was hitting my level. So I didn't get a chance to see if there was news releases. Kind of knowing that, and maybe I would have canceled the order also. But considering there was bullish news and we're not, we might get, it might have been baked in and then we're going to pull back a little bit. Still another opportunity to get out with low risk. Now we've got this sort of triple bottom here on a micro level. Again, we'd expect that to get probed. I still expect this to get probed. I still expect this down here to get probed. But this is, I don't like trading off those small time frames in the pre-market. There's just not enough volume to get like accurate reads on it. I really would like to see the sellers just plop this down, take out my target. I'm 1 tick away from, I could get out with, 2 ticks risk right now. There's definitely a seller presence, but it looks passive. It's getting really close to the opening bell. I'm kind of tempted to just close this trade, to be honest. I'd like to get out at least break even or with a touch of profit. There we go. We're 1 tick away. We should take out these lows now. We could at least get out break even if we want. We took out those lows. Let's see. There's break even. Let's see if we can't just get, that's right off my level, right off that low volume node, which is the thing. Like, maybe I should just close out now, cut my losses. And I'd like to see the sellers just punch this down a touch. Not asking for a whole lot. There we go. That's 1 tick profit. Oof. Come on, baby. All right, this comes down again. I think I'm just going to try to get out of break even. I just don't want to sit here and sweat this out any further. It's pre-market. Maybe I missed my opportunity to get out break even. I don't like that wick that came in there. We probed the lows, which is what I said we were expecting to do, and that happened, and then we got this big selling wick. So I don't really want to get hammered here with a bunch of loss after I could have gotten out. Come on, just give me back down to break even. Let me get out of this thing. Bring my stop down some more. At least just tighten up my risk on this really kind of garbage price action here. Come on, come back down. Come on, sellers. Yeah, see, buyers are stepping in, pushing it off of that low volume. It's going to take my stop now, which is fine. At least I'm getting out with a lot less risk. I just don't want to be stuck in this trade any longer. There's a lot of sellers up here, though. that the buyers are going to have to chew through, and they're coming in. I'm just watching the order flow on my other screen. It's passive selling and aggressive buying, which is not what we want to see. My stop's right above these highs, by the way, basically right at this point of control. Maybe I'll put it like one tick above that. Oh, never mind, got taken out. Okay, would have gotten taken out anyway. All right, so I'm out of that trade with a small loss. It was like I don't know, 1.5 loss or something like that. Should have gotten out at break even there. Should have just made that judgment call a little bit quicker. We're way too close to the opening bell for me. And see, I'm glad I got out because look at now, right? So that was the opportunity to just get out. And that's the nice thing about trading off these levels is we do usually get plenty of opportunity to close our trades with very small loss. And see, this would have taken full loss at this point. So be it. All right, guys, I'm going to end the live feed now. I got to get ready for the trade day. So hope you all have a great day. I'm going to win back my losses, and I'll check in with you guys on Monday. All right.